Welcome into the CHGO White Sox pregame show, coming to you live from Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, the full CHGO White Sox crew. That's our CHGO White Sox beat writer, Vinnie Duber. You can follow him at Vinnie Duber on Twitter. You can read his work at allchgo.com. He's got a piece up about Eloy Jimenez from yesterday and a piece today about the White Sox newest signing, or newest reunion? Can we phrase it that way?
It's both of those things.
With Mike Clevinger. I got a ton of mics on the team. The man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him at Eckerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. We are being produced today by Sarah.
Hello.
Hello. And you can follow us at CHGO_White Sox. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button like Mark Burley is telling you, and make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. On today's show, we will talk about the White Sox officially announcing the Mike Clevinger deal. Alongside that, to make room on the 40-man roster, they DFA'd Jose Rodriguez, so we'll see what happens to Popeye. Will he stay in the organization, be traded, or will he just be claimed on waivers? Well, I guess someone can claim him and then they trade?
Any number of things can happen.
We'll clarify. Then Chris Getz had some comments on the newest signing, Mike Clevinger, that we'll get into. We'll get into the starters for the 4-game series between the White Sox and the Royals. We might talk about that crazy Norfolk-Charlotte game where, 37 runs were scored. Insane. And then we'll go through today's lineup and get a click to pick. And again, Matt Cortese saying, how about a sweep? It's not a sweep. It's a vacuuming.
4 games.
I've heard a different podcast, Jordan Schusterman of Cespedes Baseball Barbacast, saying it's a mopping, and that's just correct. It's incorrect. Like it's a 4-game sweep.
If it rains,
but you can't. Then it's a wet vac.
There's also a wet vac. Yeah,
CD1
right.
Price Cleaners uses that for the area reps.
There's also a wet vac. That's true.
I mean, you do have to sweep before you mop, so that does make sense. In order, you get 3 games, you sweep, and then you mop after.
You use that lovely Pine Sol, and then your house smells all nice. I don't think you use Pine Sol, and I don't clean. Let's get into the White Sox signing. Let's first start with Popeye because we have more to expand, at least with Mike Clevinger. The White Sox did not announce, though, prior to tonight's series opener at Kansas City, the White Sox agreed to terms on a 1-year, $3 million contract with right-handed pitcher Mike Clevinger and optioned him to the Arizona Complex League to make room on the 40-man roster. The White Sox designated infielder Jose Rodriguez for assignment. What do we make of at least the Popeye part of this?
Didn't seem like he was, going to get much of an opportunity. Obviously, injuries happen, and somebody could be coming up in that regard. But we've already talked about Lenyn Sosa maybe being ahead of him on that part of the depth chart. Listen, their 40-man got tight in a hurry, right? I mean, I think we were talking about toward the end of spring training, like, they can add as many guys as they want to the 40-man because they could cut this guy and all of that. But it's all of a sudden gotten kind of tricky, and now you're seeing some guys who you thought were kind of mainstays or at least part of this organization moving forward get the axe, so to speak. But take a look at who 2 of the top prospects are. They're infielders, Colson Montgomery and Brian Ramos, so maybe that bumps Lenyn Sosa and Jose Rodriguez's ability to be part of those plans moving forward down a little bit. Jose Rodriguez is the odd man out.
He's 22, so young middle infielder, and it's tough to lose somebody that young. Hopefully for the White Sox and everybody else's sake, he goes through waivers, no one claims him, and he's put right back on the organization and takes his assignment wherever he gets assigned to. But, we knew this was going to happen because Mike Clevinger's going to be on the team, And this is going to happen again because it seems like Robbie Grossman will be added to this roster sooner than later.
That one seems easier, though. Like, Gavin Sheets is either going to, I guess, get
Options?
DFA'd. I guess that would be kind of surprising.
He has the option.
He'd be option, but you need to make 40-man roster.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we
40-man spot.
Why
So
are
it
we
just seems
assuming
like-
it would be Sheets?
Well, no, I'm saying it's either Sheets or Kevin Pillar.
Oh,
We
right,
brought that up
yeah.
on the show yesterday.
Right.
That it's either Pillar or Sheets. So, I mean, both those guys are on the 40-man. I think Sheets makes less sense because he has that option. You could send him to Charlotte. I don't even know who Charlotte's first baseman is right now. It's not Tim Elko, is it?
Probably. But
Is it Oscar Colas?
it's much easier, to get rid of Jose Rodriguez because really no discernible traits that he has that you're like, okay, this guy is going to be X, Y, or Z in the major leagues. At least with Lenny and Sosa, if you're between those two, you could say he has a power bat that could be eventually a major league bat. Hopefully that for everybody's sake, Jose Rodriguez gets right back in the White Sox system because they already lost a guy, Sammy Peralta, a couple weeks ago. But still, know.
I mean, no one's really. We haven't brought up Sammy Peralta until right now. I mean, that wasn't really pressing news. Are you mourning the loss of Sammy Peralta?
He's a Mariner now.
He was all right.
He was a Marlin.
No, he's a Mariner.
He was all right last year.
I don't know.
He's got a left arm.
I think that we laid out the possible options. It was either Lenny Sosa or Popeye, and then maybe if you were going to go pitcher, Alex Spees, he's down in the minors and is on the 40-man, was DFA'd by the Rangers last year, and then the White Sox picked him up. Again, I know he worked out at Tread Athletics, and that's Brian Bannister has a good relationship with those people, so maybe that's why Spees is still on the 40-man, but I thought it was either going to be Spees, Sosa, or Rodriguez, because as Kevin brings up, there's a logjam on the left side. You have Montgomery, you have Sosa, you have Shoemake, you have Paul DeYoung, you have Yohan Moncada, you have Brian Ramos. You have a ton of people that could possibly be on the White Sox in 2025, and I don't know if Popeye has made enough of a jump yet. He is only 22, will be 23 in May. Again, that's 4 years younger than I am, so the guy's got a lot of life ahead of him. And there was a 4-year difference between him and AAA, so it's not maybe surprising that he struggled a little bit more than he did with AA. I don't hate the move. I don't hate the decision to DFA him if we were talking about strictly 40-man rosters. I obviously hate the Mike Clevinger move, but whatever. Let's get into why I hate the Mike Clevinger news. Chris Getz addressed the media in Kansas City today, and he had a quote on Mike Clevinger. Quote, "I don't want to be dismissive of events that involve domestic violence. You have to trust people that lead investigations. Based on the information we have now, we're very comfortable having Clev join the White Sox. I understand the sensitivity here, and I don't want to be dismissive of that at all, but we wouldn't be doing this unless we were very comfortable with the situation, and the reason we're most comfortable is based on the investigation that has taken place beyond the Chicago White Sox." Is there anything else that he could have said? Because obviously they're making the signing, so they're clearly comfortable with him. I don't know what else Chris Getz could have addressed, but I mean, that is what Chris Getz had to say on the signing. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, it's just on him now. Like, this signing is on him. If Mike Clevinger messes up, missteps, this is his guy. This is the guy that he chose to bring back to the White Sox when it wasn't necessary to bring it back. And what he says is a good thing, but also if you understood and you're sensitive to domestic violence, you wouldn't have the guy on the team because it's not just the latest person. It's multiple people, so whatever.
I mean, listen, Chris Getz operates within the world of Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is the entity that conducted that investigation. Chris Getz is basically saying the people over me, right, who are tasked with doing that rule enforcement. I don't want to say gave the green light, but they came to they didn't come to the conclusion that a lot of people came to on their own. We'll put it that way. I think most people look at it as in life. We're governed by the legal system and all of that. This never made it to that realm, right? And so it is very murky and hard for fans maybe to work through. But Chris Getz is the general manager of a Major League Baseball team. Major League Baseball did their investigation, and he's basically saying that we, the Chicago White Sox, part of Major League Baseball, are abiding by the rules and regulations that are set forth. And so it is a PR hit regardless, you know what I mean? There is a segment of this fan base that is not going to be swayed, and I'm not saying that's rightly or wrongly. I'm saying they're not going to have their minds changed by the investigation, and the White Sox are just going to have to deal with that. But regardless of that aspect of it, he's on this team now, and it's talking about the baseball part of it now, because the White Sox have decided that they feel that any negativity that is still stemming from that issue is, I don't want to say worth it, but they're going to live with that because they've decided to add this guy to the team.
No, they decided to add him last year. I mean, it's not like it's something new. I mean, I think it was probably a little bit more critical last year when the news first came out. I mean, they saw 12 months of him, and I think that's what Pedro Grifol said to you and the media at the end of September was, who wouldn't want this guy in the clubhouse, where I think his exact words. I think, again, the White Sox opened up this gate, and it seems like they're willing to kind of, I don't want to say stake their reputation, because, again, it also does feel like Chris Getz is saying, well, it's the investigators. Like, I have nothing to do with it. The investigators investigated it, and, Mike Clevinger went to treatment, and it seems like, from what the White Sox have said, and then their fact to double down on this, that the treatment either worked well enough where he's adjusted to be a teammate. But again, like, what happens if come June or July we hear Mike Clevinger's name pop up and, we have to deal with this all again? Like, I don't understand it from a baseball standpoint, because obviously you need starting pitcher innings, but again, you could take the $3 million that you're giving him, likely $6 million with the incentives that are a part of the contract, and just pay 3 guys $1 million if you need the true innings eaten. Like, if it's just about innings, I don't understand why to bring this guy specifically into an organization that isn't fighting for a division title. And obviously Chris Getz can't be like, we're not fighting for a division title after 5 games. 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5. There's no really way that you can be like, after 5 games, oh, well, the season's over, after you're saying, we improved the defense, we improved the IQ. So, I don't know. It's a very interesting and bold move by Chris Getz, because I can see a lot of ways that it could backfire outside of the situation with Olivia Feinstead, like, specifically. I mean, there's been issues before the specifics of the 2022 investigation with Mike Clevinger. So I don't know. Maybe it pays off for him. Maybe he gets his second chance and he is able to run with it as a baseball player. But I don't know. It just seems really tricky.
The juice is not worth the squeeze. Like, what? Yeah. Like, the best thing that Mike Clevinger can do, like, if he has, like, the best season, like, he's Cy Young, what'd that do for you? What'd it do for anybody?
It's your prospects at the deadline. That's the best case scenario here, right, for the White Sox? Is that they're able to trade him at the trade deadline?
I guess the biggest question is, that's the true best case scenario, but is that best case scenario actually realistic? Does a different team want to bring him on? The White Sox were willing to give him $3 million. That's less than Michael Lorenzen got for the Rangers. That was 2 weeks ago. I think if a team was serious about signing Mike Clevinger, they wouldn't wait until the regular season's already started. And the reason why it feels like Mike Clevinger is signing with the White Sox is because the White Sox are the only team that's willing to give him a chance. So it seems like it would have to be best case scenario where he's got a very good ERA, right? He's performing very well. He's getting rave reviews from the White Sox clubhouse. He's healthy, and a team's like, okay, he's been tested with the White Sox. Now we'll bring him into our team. Like, right. It really does. Like, the White Sox are taking on this risk for how true of a reward, because again, he's still damaged goods. I don't even know if there'll be a bidding process on Mike Clevinger once there's once it comes to the trade deadline.
Well, and the thing that I have pointed out multiple times now too is, like, remember how budget conscious this White Sox team was all offseason, right? And all of a sudden it's like $3 million to hopefully get a prospect at the deadline. Like, that to me isn't in line with what they've done all for the last 6 months, right? I mean, what they've done the last 6 months is get Kevin Pillar in on a minor league deal and get, Corey Knebel into camp and Brad Keller into camp. And it's we're going to have the Braves pay down all of Max Stassi's contract to get a backup catcher, not going to spend really anything on anybody other than Eric Fetty. And to me, then all of a sudden to say a week into the season or a few days into the season, all right, let's go ahead and spend this money on Mike Clevinger with the hope of you get a prospect or 2 prospects at the deadline. Like, is that that's not in line with everything else.
And Matt's saying we needed a starter, may go to a 6-man rotation to rest Crochet's arm, and he may be innocent until proven guilty. There is no investigation. There is no actual open case right now. It's not proven until innocent until proven guilty.
It's not a court of law.
He's fine. Like, there's nothing that he's trying to disprove right now. It's just he's the way that Beefloaf said this on Monday. There's troublemakers and there's not troublemakers. And it seems like Mike Clevinger is a troublemaker. And you are taking the chance that over the next 4 months, he A, doesn't get hurt, or B, doesn't make any more trouble for himself so you can possibly get this prospect return. Like, it just seems like a lot of things have to go right for the White Sox best case scenario to actually play out with this. Because again, Victor Von Doom says winning sells tickets. How much does Mike Clevinger actually affect and elevate your ball club? Because
even if they win every game he starts for the next 3 months, or for the 3 months starting from when he's on the team till the trade deadline, that doesn't ensure that they're going to win any of the 4 in between, right?
We had Cy Crochet out against the Braves, and they didn't have a run until the 5th inning. I mean, like, part of baseball is hitting, and they didn't spend any money on the hitting aspect of this team. I guess they did a couple years ago with Moncada, Robert, and Aloy, and they spent money on Benintendi. But it doesn't feel like, I don't know, like, again, how much can Mike Clevinger actually lift and elevate this team? I mean, wins you one more game than you would have without him?
They will be better. The rotation will be better with him than it is currently, I think. But that's a very short-term proposition, right? Because the whole point, I don't know if the White Sox think this as much as we do. Certainly not Pedro and the guys in the clubhouse or in the dugout, but like we heard from Chris Getz that this season was about learning where they're at, right? Aren't you impacting your learning by dedicating 20% of your starting pitching innings to a guy who's not going to be on the team next year, right? Aren't you impacting your ability to give an opportunity to, let's not even bring up Nick Nestrini's name. Let's say it's somebody else who 2 months from now is showing well at Charlotte or showing well at Birmingham. I don't know. I think that if the White Sox were about learning over the course of the season, bringing in a veteran like this, and I'm not even talking about any of the other Mike Clevinger stuff. I'm talking about blind resume, but here's his years in the league, and here's his contract that he's getting. He's not going to be on the team next year.
And up there, Sarah, you see Matthew Cortese up a little bit, saying, according to Grifol, he says he is in trouble, a great clubhouse guy. Grifol also said that Jason Bourgeois was going over outfield positioning the other day, when clearly, come on now, he wasn't going over outfield positioning when he was late to go to first base. Come on now. So I'm going to take Pedro's words with a grain of salt.
I don't know anything about that. I missed the Austin Riley homer because I wasn't paying attention to the game.
They were very happy with what he was in the clubhouse last year. I can tell you that right now. They thought that he was a positive presence. You had Pedro 2 days ago saying that the attributes that Mike Clevinger has is part of what they're working toward in terms of the makeover they're doing of this organization and the culture aspect of that. They liked him in the clubhouse. That's a fact last year. And
maybe that's probably part of the problem. A 61 win team.
Well, but you're assuming that the stuff that happened outside the clubhouse got into the clubhouse.
I'm just assuming a jerk D-bag is a jerk D-bag no matter what, wherever he goes.
Well, that's
my opinion.
That's not the experience that they had in the clubhouse as a teammate last year.
Because if they did, they wouldn't sign him right now.
There's a lot to life that isn't how you behave at work, right? And that's fine. But from what they said when they were at work, he was a positive presence for them.
And I mean, Matt Cortese brings up people are sleeping on Brandon Belt. I mean, if they spent $3 million to go get Brandon Belt, I'd be over the moon right now. Like, that's the thing. It's not about spending $3 million or whatever. It's just the person that they are giving this money to. Because, like, I brought up in spring training, did they actually give Gavin Sheets a true challenge with Mike Moustakas, right? Like, it didn't really feel like, it always felt like it was Gavin Sheets' spot, especially since he played so well in spring training. Like, Mike Moustakas wasn't an actual threat. Brandon Belt, who had a 138 weighted runs created plus, who probably doesn't want to play for the White Sox, let's be fair, that would have been more of a true challenge. Like, let's go spend $3 million, if anything, to make our players better. Like, this is best case scenario, he's off the team in July. So Nick Nastrini can come up and et cetera can come up because it's all about the youth. Like, Mike Clevinger's 33. Like, why does this need to be the home for, the rejects? Like, I don't know. If he was actually what his resume said, a 128 ERA plus guy, a guy that's better than a league average starter, an actual contender didn't want to give him $3 million. Like, I understand why the White Sox do, because again, they saw him last year and they're probably like, wow, what a steal. But again, it seems like a real risky proposition. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, I'm not rooting for anything to happen. Hopefully it doesn't harm anybody else and we don't have to hear about Mike Clevinger's personal life ever again, right? Hopefully he's taking care of his stuff and then boom, I don't know. Clevinger, Getz did say Clevinger would be ready by the end of the month.
Brad Keller, yep.
Yeah, Brad Keller is going to be up to 3 innings pitched in the complex league soon, and then it's not going to be Nick Nastrini on Monday, April 8th. It seems like there will be an open spot there, but if anything, we talked yesterday, it will probably just be a bullpen game.
That would be my thought. Yeah. It seems too easy, right? It seems like that's the easiest way to do it. So why not just do it and then take advantage of your off days in the weeks following, and you don't have to worry about this fifth starter business for 2.5 weeks.
And Garrett Crochet went from 6 innings to 7 innings, so it's only realistic that on that Sunday he'll go to 8 innings, right? I mean, hey.
Bullpen will be fresh.
Let's go. We'll talk about that series in just a second. Let's take a break and let you know about some of our fantastic sponsors. We want to let you know, though, about our friends over at PrizePicks. If you are looking to get into daily fantasy sports, PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and they are the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. We got a game in less than 20 minutes, but the best thing about PrizePicks is you can get your entry in less than 60 seconds. Spring training is over, and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in prize pick entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your prize picks entry today. Get on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on prize picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason as well. Playoffs begin on April 40th, and you got the play-in round, which the Bulls might be a part of, on April 16th, 17th, and 19th. And they have something for every fan, whether you're a baseball fan, basketball fan, to even League of Legends and everything in between. So go check out PrizePicks at prizepicks.com/CHGO and use code CHGO for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/CHGO and use code CHGO. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace.
What is?
Game Time.
Game Time.
There is. It's an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even easier and faster. Prices on Game Time app actually go down closer it gets to the first pitch. And with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Went down to Atlanta, bought some tickets, went to a secondary market, saw another secondary site that had a lower price in the row-in section that I was sitting in, sent this information in Game Time, and in 12 minutes, I had 110% of the difference in my Game Time account. You could save up to 60% by buying last minute for sports, concerts, theater, and comedy. Flash deals, you could save even more with exclusive in-app deals
In-app deals.
On in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. And with zone deals, save even more. I just bought some zone deal tickets up in Milwaukee.
Ooh.
They were $125 originally. I got them for $88.
That's why they call it the Good Land.
You could choose this section and let the Game Time choose the seats for you, which they did. I'm in section 125. Get a panoramic view of your seat on the app before you buy, so you know you don't have obstructed views. I know at Milwaukee I don't have obstructed views. Only that place up north do you have obstructed views. And also I heard Fenway also has those bad poles right in front of you.
The old ones.
Yeah. Don't go to those places. But if you do, go to Game Time so you can see where you're sitting. Take the guesswork. I went to Wrigley. It's not that great. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets for Game Time. For a limited time, all users get $20 off any MLB purchase of $150 or more in the Game Time app with the code FIRSTPITCH. Terms apply. That's FIRSTPITCH, FIRSTPITCH, for $20 off from March 25th to April 14th only. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Thank you, Herb.
Pre-game is jitters.
You know, Game Time doesn't make you go, ugh, right? They make
No.
you cheer for joy.
Some stuff in my mouth. Water.
White Sox are starting a 4-game series in Kansas City, and the starters are Michael Soroka against Seth Lugo today. Tomorrow it's going to be Eric Fetty versus Brady Singer, Chris Flexen versus Michael Waka on Saturday, and then Garrett Crochet versus Alec Marsh. I had to look up. It just
Alec Marsh.
It said Marsh, and I was like, I gotta be honest. We see the Royals every year, and I've never heard of an Alec Marsh.
That sounds like 6 2/3 a shutout ball.
Oh yeah, right. I mean that, or yeah, right. It's gonna be him throwing a no-hitter against Garrett Crochet, who's also throwing a no-hitter. And it's like, if only we had one hitter to actually help us out here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Let's get into the lineups for today. Leading off for the White Sox, Andrew Benintendi in left field. Batting second, Yohan Moncada playing third base. Batting third, Luis Robert Jr. in center field. Batting fourth, Gavin Sheets at DH. Batting fifth, Andrew Vaughn at first base. Batting sixth, Braden Shoemake at shortstop. Batting seventh, Dominic Fletcher in right field. Batting eighth, Nicky Lopez at second base. And batting ninth, Corey Lee is the catcher. Michael Soroka is the starting pitcher for the Sox. Now let's go to the Royals lineup. We'll get to the starting 9 for them. Maikel Garcia is their third baseman and leading off. Batting second, Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop. Batting third, Vinny Pasquantino. The Pasquatch is back. He's at first base. He's probably going to go yard today. Batting fourth, Sal Perez at catcher. Batting fifth, MJ Melendez in left field. Batting sixth, Nelson Velasquez at DH. Batting seventh, Hunter Renfroe, who had a crazy throw yesterday in right field. Don't run on him. At 8, Nick Lofton at second base.
Nick, don't call me Kenny Lofton.
Yes, and where is Michael Massey? Oh, he's hurt. Right?
Sad. Yeah, he's hurt.
Ugh, brutal. And batting ninth, Kyle Isbell in center field. Let's go to Click to Pick first, because this is a more in-depth game. This isn't just basically, who's going to have the best game. This is a very intricate point system, a delicate point system that I think only one person has been able to crack to actually get a point.
Do we have a leaderboard, Herb?
It's 1-0.
1-0.
It's 1 to 0 to 0 to 0.
Someone had Luis Robert Jr. and that was it?
Yes, that's it. The 2 home run game, Jared CWS had Luis Robert Jr. I thought I had a victory the other day with Yohan Moncada, but we ruled that the White Sox didn't score any runs. If the White Sox don't score any runs, no one's the click to pick that day.
So the 3 of us who do this every day
have not picked.
Have a grand total of 0 points through 5 games.
Makes honestly the most sense that I've ever heard in my life.
That's bad.
But
I mean, I've also just been picking Andrew Benintendi, and he's bad.
But also think about this: we got to pick the White Sox. So the first game they had no runs. The second game they had 6. The third game they had 2. And so it's hard to get the
fourth game they had 0.
Exactly.
Yeah. They've won 1 game.
It's hard to get a actual click the pick out of that bad offense.
So we're not even the way the game works, it's not just the best of who gets picked. It literally has to be the one who wins.
Yes.
And then you get the points on top of it.
Then you get the points, yes. And then there's if we pick the 4 players and one of the other 5 players who play or that we didn't pick is the pick the click or the click the pick, we don't get any points.
In their one game,
at this
Paul
point,
DeYoung was the click to pick, and he had a pinch hit home run.
He didn't even start.
No one had him.
You couldn't pick him.
You couldn't pick him.
No. So it's very possible that one of us would end the season with 0 points.
Very possible.
Wow.
And Kevin, we do
but I'm winning today, so that won't happen.
We do click to picks in the Die Hard Discord. So if you do want to join, you can be like Jared, who's picking. He picked Luis Robert Jr. today, and then Vinny. Why don't we go down the line? That's a song, isn't it? Down the line.
There's a lot of songs involving lines. I would say that so the way I've been looking at it is I've been picking middle of the pack or lower on purpose to try to get that high point total.
Yes.
I'm going, I'm not being conservative. I want to go big or go home. So I'm going with Corey Lee tonight. Rave reviews, of course, over that changed swing from the offseason. And he already does have a home run this year. So I'm going with Corey Lee.
Vinny's trying to go for 7 points. That's what Corey Lee has on the line for tonight. I rank him 1 through 9. Whichever player has the best odds of being click to pick, which is Luis Robert Jr., that's who Jared has. And the least amount of success, which tonight is Dominic Fletcher.
All right. You going Dom Fletcher?
I am not. I am going with your man's, Andrew Benintendi. He has 5 points on the line tonight. So I think him going back home to Kansas City, his beloved Kansas City Royals, where he was an all-star, Sean, I think he's going to show out tonight.
See, the reason why I have 0 points is because I'm like, Andrew Benintendi's too low. He gets all these at-bats. You'll learn. You'll learn, Herb. Okay. I am going with the chat. I am going with Matthew Cortese. I'm going with Kevin. I'm going with Matt. And I don't even know if Matt actually ended up picking him. It's revenge game. It is revenge game, Herb. But the team that drafted you Send you to Atlanta for what? I mean, what did they even get for Nicky Lopez? Nicky Lopez versus Seth Lugo, I'm seeing a bomb, all right? Local product's going to go back and show them what they're missing. Nicky Lopez is going to go absolutely deep, and let's go. Kevin Malloy throwing out that only Benintendi has faced Lugo, and, that's why Nicky Lopez is going to get the jump on him. Seth Lugo is going to think that he's going to throw a fastball right down the middle on an 0 count, and Nicky Lopez is going to take him over that weird wall in right field. The White Sox are going to lose like 10-1. Sorry.
Was that your prediction?
That was a very specific prediction.
That's my prediction. 10-1 White Sox loss. But Nicky Lopez is the only solo shot.
Hey, if that happens, you are the click-to-pick winner.
Oh, thank you. If I call it that specifically.
Yes.
We have a little, I guess we're over 6:30. Why don't we just talk briefly about Eloy, because we are going to get into Eloy tonight because it's kind of up in the air if he's even going to play. He's not in the lineup, but he's available. So we'll see what happens with Eloy Jimenez. No direct idea if he'll play. It feels very White Soxian for him to pinch hit tonight, for them not to be able to retroactively IL him.
Well, to me, that says that he's good for one. He's good to hit, but he's not good to run. So the idea being that if he were to hit and then get on base, he would need to be immediately lifted for a pinch runner. They don't want that to happen in the first inning with their DH, so save him till the end of the game if needed. He can hit and then come right out after hitting. But here we are. This would be the fourth straight game that he hasn't started since getting hurt, or I guess fourth straight day. They didn't play yesterday. So fourth straight day that he hasn't been in the starting lineup since getting hurt on Sunday. And as the White Sox continue to explain, they'd rather have, 4 days down a man than to not have him for the 5 days or the 6 days after if he's available to play starting tomorrow, right? So I know that's frustrating to folks. That's what is the case at the moment. And again, we'll just see tomorrow if he's starting. And it's frustrating Eloy from Daryl. Eloy Jimenez expressed extreme frustration with latest setback, worked hard in offseason and camp. Quote, sometimes I want to go home, but I'm going to keep working and be here for my teammates, end quote. We will talk about that quote on the postgame show. We'll be here live after either the 10-1 White Sox loss or, as Matt Cortese saying, not a 5-0 no-hitter. Matt's changing it up. Wow, he's not even predicting no-hitters anymore.
A 3-1 score. You guys got a prediction? You guys got any thoughts? Sox win?
Yeah, I think the Sox are going to lose to Seth Lugo. So Seth Lugo's going to go another quality start, 3-2 loss.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'll say Sox lose 4-3.
I don't think we got to the starting pitching graphic. Let's get to it real quick. Soroka's on the bump for the Sox. Lugo's on the bump for the Royals. As Herb mentioned, Lugo had a quality start. 6 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, 4 Ks, 1 walk. That sounds like a guy that's just going to eat up the White Sox with 5 different pitches. And then Michael Soroka, 5 innings pitched, 7.2 ERA. I think that will go down regardless, even if he throws, gives up 6 runs in 5 innings. 7 hits, though, 0 Ks, 3 walks. I expect him to strike at least 1 Royal out tonight. I'll go on the limb there, and Mike Soroka gets his first White Sox strikeout tonight. But that's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox pregame show. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button like someone just did. Get us to Andrew Benintendi likes. Come on, we got 22 likes. Get us to Benny for the revenge game. We'll talk to you after the show. Subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel, and goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.